Hola, buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estela.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. So today's episode will be brought to you by me.
Barbie.
Barb, whatever you want to call me.
La Barbie.
La Barbie.
La Bárbara Tragedia.
Sí, Bárbara Tragedia. That's
Bárbara
what my dad
Yañez.
calls me. Yañez. That's what my dad calls me. Bárbara Gurrusquieta for a long time, but never been.
Yeah. Well, or other people say Yañez.
But it's Yañez. Yeah. So, but anyway.
She'll say today's episode.
Yeah, so I'm going to be discussing today's episode. Also, we kind of wanted to bring something up. Last episode Estela brought was the episode of Tim McLean. And we got a comment on our Instagram.
Our post.
Or a post.
About the story.
About the case. Thank you, Stella.
Sorry.
And so then...
It's because I have my phone. She doesn't.
Yeah, I don't have my phone. So I think that we kind of wanted to bring it up because I thought that was a little bit crazy. Yeah. And Estela said that she already knew about it, but she didn't bring it up, I guess.
Yeah, it was after we had already recorded, and I was going to screenshot it and send it to you. But you know how towards the end of the episode, we were talking about, you know, how it affected passengers on the bus, pero también it affected members of the police force of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Yes.
And we did get a comment from Bert's son. He commented on the post.
At Bert's son.
Hi.
Welcome. Hello.
Hi, new listener. He said that there was an officer that was part of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police that, you know, was actually on board on the bus. And he witnessed the horror inside of the bus. And a few years later, he actually ended up committing suicide. So
yes, and our prayers go out to that family.
Everybody.
Everybody.
It just goes to show you, it has ripples effects, you know.
Yes.
It ended Tim's life, pero también la familia de Tim suffered, y luego the passengers on the bus suffered, and maybe their family members from seeing them suffer, and you know, it just kind of like ripple effects, and it's crazy. I feel like we don't think about that, or when you hear a story, you don't. That's not like a thought that crosses your mind initially at first.
Well, I know that you have police officer friend, and then I know my ex coworker, her husband is a police officer, and she's always talking about how he has to, like, when he sees something real severe, they have to go through therapy for like a while. And I'm not sure how that works for your friend, but the only thing is, like, we don't take that in consideration. These police officers are out there and they're taking a beating. Not
or
only
any first responders,
any first responders, but like, for example, not too long ago, there was I think it was like somebody was doing like just a regular stop and he got shot. Like, he was just asking for their registration and he got shot.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
So, I mean, it's like they're out there really just doing it all, and we appreciate them. Thank you very much. So, I mean, I don't know. This case right here, it's kind of along the lines as last week's case, and I didn't mean it to be like this, but the reason is because of the fact that the guy, Lynn, was kind of saying, well, I wasn't taking my medication. I wasn't of sound of mind. Lee. So I kind of...
Now Will Baker,
formerly known as Lee. And so it's kind of like along the same lines.
Sometimes when you're not looking, it kind of just... I mean, like I was saying, like, it doesn't mean to tie it together, but it just kind of pops up.
It did. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you would like to listen to today's episode, go ahead and grab your casitos.
And let's get started.
So today we're going to Washington.
State?
I don't know.
What?
We're going to Spokane, Washington.
Yeah, it's state. Hold on, let me take a sip of my coffee.
Okay. So Estela made us coffee today. So I'm on a weight loss journey right now, and I'm doing everything sugar-free.
It's not a weight loss; it's a lifestyle change.
Lifestyle change. And so I'm doing anything like sugar-free. So I'm doing keto, and so it was like a cold brew coffee.
No, I bought the cold brew coffee.
She bought the cold brew coffee.
The only thing that I make is the pumpkin cream cold foam. That's the only thing that I like to make.
So she made pumpkin cream cold foam, but it was cold foam. What did I say?
I don't know.
Cold foam? Anyway, y'all understood. So then, me entendieron, pues. And so it's really good. So thank you, sister.
You're welcome.
And it's sugar-free and keto approved.
Keto approved for you.
I'm very proud of her. Anyway. Oh, I just sang a little.
Oh, Mariah?
Yeah, girl.
Poquito. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. No, just un poquito de Mariah. Anyway, so according to Redfin.com, Spokane, Washington is known for the Spokane Falls. And it's one of the largest urban waterfalls in the United States.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, like, Redfin.com says Spokane Falls holds the distinction of being one of the largest urban waterfalls in the United States. The Spokane River forms the falls at its cascades through a large basalt rock formation. I'm going to say that again. Basalt rock formations, which is reminding me of Beyonce. Sorry. The main drop, known as the Upper Falls, measures about 100 feet in height and spans a width of over 500 feet.
Wow.
That's huge.
Can you swim?
No. But
in there? Like,
no, I don't think you can.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you can. So it's also known as the birthplace of Father's Day.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So Spokane is the birthplace of Father's Day. It was proposed by Sonra Smart Dodd, a Spokane native, in 1909, inspired by the newly established Mother's Day. Sonra sought to honor and recognize the significant role that fathers play into their children's lives. With the support of local organizations and community leaders, Spokane celebrated the first official Father's Day on June 19th of 1910.
Wow.
The event, eventually gained popularity and gradually spread across the country and becoming nationally recognized holiday in 1972 when
Barely? That wasn't even that long ago if you think about it.
Yeah, when President Nixon did sign it into law.
They were like, why just moms? Why not dads too,
Vamos a ser un poco sinceras. Las mamás somos unas chingonas.
I know.
So,
I'm not, but they were probably thinking like,
and then they're like, Father's
it takes
Day.
two, like.
I guess, whatever.
Well, there are single dads there. And stuff,
there's a lot of single dads. Not only that, but there's also
That's interesting.
A lot of single moms that don't need a father. I don't know. It's just.
You could be one without the other.
You can. So I thought that was interesting.
It is. I did not know that.
So today we're going to be discussing the case of a serial killer. Her name is Donna Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She sounds like a bitch already.
Around 2000s, Donna was trying to live her life peacefully in her home with her at least 24 cats. So pretty much she's a cat lady. See, Donna was a felon, but because she liked guns, she was into armory. She was into all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Bombas, lo que se te ocurra, she had it. So not just any guns, like AK-47s, like pinches pistols así grandotas.
That for like war
pretty much,
and stuff?
Yeah. She thought she
like
was
hunting.
Hunting, yeah, exactly.
Not like un revolver así chiquito. No.
Sí tenía revolvers también, pero no tenía uno.
Tenía como 18.
Yeah. So she got herself in some trouble for having such guns. So Donna one day decides, hey, you know what? I don't care that I'm a felon. I'm going to go into a gun store. And she went to go buy more guns and more ammunition.
Pero ¿quién se las vendió de todos modos?
That's the thing. While being there, they did check her background and ended up finding out that she was a felon. So they do take her to jail and they find out that she was linked to a cold case.
Oh.
This cold case goes back to the 1990s. So voy a darles información sobre los casos.
Casos?
It's a cold case. So the casos, because there's more than one, is of 3 sex workers of the area of Spokane, Washington, that were found dead. On February 22nd of 1990, the body of Yolanda Sapp, a 26-year-old prostitute, mother of 2, she was a mother of 2 and she had a drug problem. So she that was her job. She would go out.
She's a sex worker, yeah.
Sex worker. Well, they say a lot of prostitutes, so I'm sorry if I say prostitute a lot. I apologize. But I'm just saying that's what they say. Yolanda had been shot 3 times in the chest. She was found sprawled over some rocks and it was at the bank of the river.
Okay.
So she was nude and it was kind of like they had set her up, like propped up for everybody to see her. She was known to wear some bracelets, necklaces, and all of that was gone, along with some clothes. There was nothing there. She was completely naked. And she also had a small denim purse that she always was seen with, and everything was gone. On March the 25th, 1990, 23-year-old Nikki Lowell.
So like a month later?
Yes. Was found murdered, and her body was also found under a bridge close to the river. She was shot 1 time in the chest. Also the same. No clothing around her. It was just her. No habían dejado nada, más que ella estaba desnuda. No había nada.
She didn't have anything either on herself or on her person or anything.
No tenía nada. I think that in Miss Sapp, cuando la habían matado, había unas cobijas, like blankets that were there. I don't know if that's what they would use to commit the sex act. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Y luego, on May the 15th, 1990, 38-year-old grandmother and mother, Miss Katie Brispo, she was found dead. So she was found on the west side of the Spokane River as well. She was shot 3 times in the chest and once on the head and in the arm. So she was the one that was shot the most.
Okay.
Now, Katie did not go down without a fight. The reason is because investigators noticed that they found that was probably the most gruesome scene of all 3 of them. So they believe that she was where they committed the sex act.
Like ahí
la habían dejado
momento.
en ese momento, pero como que they were done or they were about to start y something happened. And then she started to run. And so then you see the officer was saying they actually have a video showing como estaba como una barranca, like it would go down and there was a lot of wooded area. So he would say like there was a wooded path y había como chunks of blood. Droplets of blood, chunks of hair, como que iba dejando. And then where it actually stopped is where she was just slumped over there and also naked. Before that, I don't know if maybe they fought her dress off, pero encontraron there was a sundress. And I mean, there was just
a lot of stuff left behind.
A lot of stuff left behind. So investigators state that she put up they know that she put up a fight because she was the only one that had actual defensive wounds. She had a fractured skull. She was missing hair, and it seemed like she had been drugged. So there was like drug marks.
Were they connecting, thinking that these cases
at that point? No, but I'm going to explain to you why they were because of.
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Yeah.
So Kathy told her friends that if this was ever going to happen to her, like it's crazy because she would tell her friends, hey, si esto me va a pasar a mí, yo me voy a pelear. I want the police to know.
Because I'm sure she had already heard of the other 2 women that had been found.
I don't know, but she started kind of preparing her family.
What?
Yeah, I guess telling them que si eso le pasaba, I guess from seeing the other ladies.
Yeah.
And based on what I found out at the end of the story, they all lived in the same area. They all knew each other. They all lived in the same hotel.
That's what I'm saying.
And they paid rent.
I feel like they all know each other. Se conocen or have heard of each other, you know? Because I think they look out for each other on the streets.
It's like
a community.
A community. Yeah. And they lived in a hotel, like a trap house kind of thing. And they all had like pimps. And it was they had their home system.
But this was, again, in the 1990s, right?
In the 1990s.
1990, actually.
1990. Yeah. So every killer, as you know, has a signature. And the 3 ladies were all killed with the same caliber gun, which is a .22 small gun. A small gun. They knew that it was the same weapon since they did find some fragments of the bullets and they matched all 3 of them.
At the crime scenes?
At the crime scenes, yes. In the 1991 through 1992, the case went cold. In between 1996 and 1998, they did have more bodies appear, and these were all sex worker homicides. There were 11 homicides, and those were all linked to the same serial killer.
The same, MO?
MO, the same thing. So that would be Robert Yates. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's pretty famous.
The Green River Killer?
Yes. So, and also, those 11 had DNA evidence. It was all clear that the 3 ladies were not. They all had something to do that was separate from the 3 ladies that were originally found in the 1990s. They did not have the MO of Robert Yates.
Oh no, Robert Yates wasn't the Green River Killer.
No,
I'm sorry.
there was another one que se llamaba Fairfield or something like that, and he was also around the same time killing.
He was known as Robert Yates. You said he was known as the grocery bag killer.
Well, he probably killed them with grocery bags.
Suffocated them?
Suffocated, yeah. So in 2000, so that puts us from 1992 to 1998, nothing. Nobody found anything out. Everybody started thinking.
They just knew somebody had done it.
Yes.
Pero no sabían quién.
No sabían quién. And they knew that they were able to cross out the fact that it could have been Robert Yates because of the way that they were killed. So in 2005, the case was still unsolved. So they changed investigators. So sometimes they'll give new cases and that like that. So,
especially after they get cold. Yeah. There's somebody.
So trajeron a un detectivo que se llama...
¿Detectivo?
Detectivo que se llama Jim Dressback. And they were able to go through all the DNA that was collected. And of course, by the time that, by 2005, there's a big difference in DNA advancements and that kind of thing. So DNA processing was a lot different now. So they were able to bring out everything that they had in the case and kind of retest what they had. The evidence that they actually thought that was probably going to be the best to put in the system was going to be the fingernail clippings of Kathy Briscoe. Because Kathy was the first one, the last one to get killed, and she's the one that had the biggest fight.
So they
were able to.
She had DNA under her fingernails.
So back in the day, they couldn't
do much
with that. So the DNA was placed in the system where, every time someone new would enter the system, they would run it against that DNA. So it was like a priority kind of thing.
So is it CODIS?
It's CODIS, but they made it like a priority to run like everybody that was new kind of you know what I mean? They had some suspects. Detectives were saying they had about 12 people that they thought maybe could have done this, and they were all eliminated.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They were looking for an unknown male, but I mean, we're talking about an unknown male.
And
a white male.
I mean,
come on. So the case remained cold. There was nothing in CODIS. Nothing was popping up.
Cases, right?
Cases. Well, I mean, they called it they call it cases, but they were focused more on Ms. Brisbow's case because of the fact that she was the one with the most DNA found at the scene.
Okay.
So at this point, they didn't know that if they were all connected, but they thought there was
possibility.
Yeah, they
Pero
weren't
si
sure.
encontraban el killer de ella, a lo mejor podían conectar los demás.
Exactamente.
Okay, gotcha.
Then what happened was that a few more years passed by. In 2009, more testing was done. 6 months after the case was sent to the lead detective Dressback again, and he got a call from one of the scientists from the DNA lab in Washington. I was watching it's called Making a Serial Killer season 1. And he said that when they called him, they tell him, hey, are you sitting down? And he's like, I got excited because when they tell me, are you sitting down? It's usually,
you're about to get big news. Yeah.
So they found out they created a full-on profile on the DNA under the nail. But we go back to the same thing. It was a male profile, white male. But anyway, it was a start. Better than not knowing even where to start. They had something. They actually found the fingernail clipping in her middle finger had the most DNA. Mm-hmm. So they're over here now thinking, okay, so if it was there, then now they had to match to like you said, the rest of the DNA and make sure that it matched to all 3 women to see if it was the same person. There was no matches on CODIS again. A few years do pass and they did get a hit. In March 2012, police officers were in the gun store. Mm-hmm. And this is where they're running the background for Ms. Donna Perry, and she came back as the felon. Mm-hmm. And they were kind of asking her a question like, bro, what are you doing? Because you're a felon and you're buying firearms.
Who was asking her at
the police, because there was actually...
because she got arrested, right?
Yeah, she got arrested, but not only that, but there actually conveniently was an off-duty officer. So when it came back, they were able... como que la tienda le dijo al oficio...
I wonder how that works. Like, it just pops up right there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I hope it does, because then if you're just waiting for them to...
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, we're going to put this on layaway, like, come back?
Mm-hmm. So they arrested her. They did take her to jail. When she was arrested, there is a federal law that they took her DNA again. Mm-hmm. So she had to provide her DNA. Donna provides her DNA, as you know, and Donna's DNA was a direct match. Well, not only with the direct match of the nail clippings, but also with semen.
What?
Yes. Semen that was found on one of the other 2 victims. They were confused.
I'm confused. I'm cornfused.
And they started to look into a little bit deeper. I meant to say into. I can't talk. So they started to kind of look into who the hell was Donna. ¿Quién es esta señora? Like, dude, if you see her, parece la pinche llorona straight up.
You sounded like fucking Dracula.
No.
Who's Donna?
Who's Donna? So Donna looked like a middle-aged woman. Like she had at least, like I said, a dozen cats. She was a cat lady and she lived alone in her home.
I'm going to pull her up. What's her name again? Donna what?
No, don't pull her up yet.
Oh.
So Donna Perry, and she's still pulling her up.
No, I'm not going to pull her up. Okay.
Yeah, she is. So...
You can hear me type and shit.
Yeah, I can hear her type. So who is Donna Perry? So that brings us to Omak, North Central Washington, where the Perry family welcomes a baby boy. And his name is Douglas Perry. Okay. The family, he probably was mostly like in the like farming area. And
community?
There's a lot of, and they had an orchard.
Oh, cool.
And not only that, but guns were normal. Guns were a normal thing. You know, they were used to doing that. Target practice, todo eso. Lo
killing
hacían,
animals.
Porque eso era normal. Yeah. So Douglas' dad actually was a military gun expert as well. So he would take his son.
Kids.
Son.
Yeah.
Because I think he had an older brother, and then it was his mom, and then his dad and himself.
So eran cuatro.
So eran cuatro, yeah. So llevaba al son para que...
Douglas.
A Douglas, para que hiciera todos los pinches shootings y todo, right? Between the ages of 4 and 6, Doug was raped and beat by his father until he died right after that.
The dad,
yeah. He was close, a little bit, you could say closer to his mom, but then she was actually put into an institution for severe schizophrenia.
Oh, wow.
Which means that he was on his own pretty young.
Yeah.
By his late 20s or early 20s, he was known by the laws very well. He was arrested in various times. So according to Wikipedia.com or .org, excuse me, dating back to 1974. Okay. In 1987, he was charged with reckless endangerment. In 1988, possession of a pipe bomb.
Oh, shit.
And he was found. Listen to this, Estela. You're gonna be like, what the fuck? Le encontraron 50 guns, 20,000, 20,000 rounds of ammunition in his home. In 1989, he was arrested for soliciting a sex worker. In late 1994, law enforcement obtained a search warrant of his home, and they found an additional 33 firearms. Along with a lot of ammunition. The police asked him how he made the money for this. So he told them, and I quote, "I'm a woman trapped in a man's body, and I prostitute myself." End quote.
At the time, was he going by Douglas or era Donna?
No, he was going through by Douglas. We'll get there in a minute. Now, here's the deal where it kind of made me upset, because when they did the last search of his home, they noticed that there was 22 pistols at the home. And guess what? They weren't confiscated.
And this was still in 1994, you said?
So, I mean, they could have...
Sir?
Anyway, and he was put in jail. At this point, obviously, he's not allowed to have any guns. So he spends 18 months in jail. And at this time, when he's in jail is when he actually talked to the police, and he would talk to his inmates, and he would even talk to like the social worker and everything. He told them that he had killed 9 sex workers at that point, and he would call them, and I quote, pawn scum.
Wow.
And he killed them because they could have children and he could not. No one believed him. Right. So he actually spoke to a mental health worker, and they were trying to give this information to the investigators, but no one listened to them.
Why?
Or did anything about it. They thought he was just mental. Like they didn't.
De que no estaba bien de la cabeza.
And so, yeah, pretty much. He told the inmates how he murdered them, where he put them, and pretty much specifics of what it was. The inmates tried to communicate. Nobody believed them either. In 1998, about a year after getting out of jail, a young woman described a date with Perry, which was still Douglas at this time. This happened at his home. And she said that he took her to his home and was like, pásale, te voy a tratar bien. I like you. I'm not going to do nothing. So she said it was weird porque...
He picked her up or she went over?
No, he picked her up. She was a street worker as well. So then la recogió y se la llevó a su casa y le dijo, I'm not going to do nothing to you.
They were just going
to have a date. Yeah. So then, but when she came home from the date, like, it was just not right. So what she did was she told one of the cops that was there, like, I guess, like, roaming the area, lo paró y le dijo, hey, I need to tell you something.
So she had the date, but she was like, I don't have a good feeling. So she left the house. She was cool. I mean, she was fine. No le pasó nada. And then, like you said, she ran into the cop that was roaming the area or whatever, patrolling.
I need to tell you something. Y the cop came and was like, that was the creepiest date of my life. She described him having mannequins, crossbows, and weapons everywhere. Knives, everything. So then ya para esto le dijo, and he's right there. Like he was driving by.
What? After having ended the date with her?
Yeah.
¿Tú crees que la andaba buscando?
No, andaba buscando a alguien más.
Alguien más.
So then when they stopped him, he had a handgun, he had a stun gun, and a knife. So not only that, but I read that while they were looking through all of his stuff. In the back of the seat, there was paperwork and notes of the mental clinician when he was in jail, stating that he was having a gender psychosis disorder in the paperwork. They picked up the paperwork, and he also was searching up like gender reassignment. Pero nobody paid attention to that either. So like, okay, let's let him go.
So they let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, obviously he was looking for somebody else, but why do you think he didn't do anything to her? Do you think she just got lucky?
No, I think that in a little bit later, I'll kind of tell you a little bit what happened. I honestly think that Ms. Brispo, lo espantó. Because she fought back so hard that he probably was like, oh shit, I can't be doing this. But I'll explain to it in a minute. So in the year 2000, Douglas transitioned and he goes to Bangkok, Thailand. He took himself over there and he comes back and now he is Donna Perry.
Okay. Tell me when I can look her up.
You can look her up now.
Okay. Continue.
So then in the year 2000 is when everything, comes back and she's like, okay, cool. I'm Donna now. Hey guys, chill. And 12 years later, Donna is arrested on another gun charge. But now she's not Doug anymore, right? She's Donna. Now we're back at the point where that's when she got arrested and they're trying to figure out how she has anything to do with the 3 cold cases.
Yeah,
right?
with the nail clippings and the semen.
So that's how Douglas became Donna, right? At this point, 12 years later, here we're at. Now the investigators had to start a whole new investigation because they had never even looked into Douglas. He wasn't even like
on their radar.
Nothing.
Which is really weird.
Well, yeah and no, because I'll tell you why. Now he was, besides that, the investigators were like, we have to start all over. He's like, we had, no joke, so many like people calling in tips and everything, like around 600, and no one even mentioned this person.
Wow.
Yeah. So
investigators needed to just fully backtrack and start from the very beginning.
Start from the beginning. So investigators paid a visit to Donna and they asked her, hey, she's in jail. He's like, hey, bro, do you think that you can give us your DNA? We're kind of just going through some stuff. And are you okay with this? She's like, yeah, here you go. She cooperated and gave him. And so they had a little bit of an exchange with Donna the time when they were taking her DNA. And this is what she said based on the YouTube channel for Queen's Speech. That's the name of it. It's from the episode called quotation Donna Perry. That's what it is. I'm not going to admit I killed anybody, she said. Donna has killed no one.
She's speaking in the third person?
Exactly. The investigator asked her, Doug did? So you're telling me Doug did? Donna said, I don't know if Doug did or not. It's been 20 years and I have no idea whether he did or did not. She continues to deny the involvement, but she did say that she got rid of the violence when she became Donna.
Okay.
So they searched the house of Donna. While they searched the house and Donna's in jail, everybody's kind of going through everything. And there's like a department of firearms. I guess there's like a special unit. They was searching. And so they kind of get back to the investigators and they were like, you know what? There was one thing that we kind of were, because he talked to them and we're like, hey, we're looking in for this. And so they're like, you know what? There was something kind of off about her home. Algo que me llamó la atención, que había un closet. There was a closet door in the bedroom that was sealed shut.
Okay.
Okay. So cuando obviously the DEA is like, bro, we need to open this door, right? If it's sealed. And there was boxes there. And inside of the boxes, there was a lot of women's underwear.
Oh.
So now, once again, a reminder to everyone, Yolanda was left with no clothes. But like I said, there was some DNA in the blankets scattered in the area. Then Nikki Lowell was also no underwear, no clothes.
Sorry, it's not the DEA, it was ATF. That's the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
That's what, yeah. Anyway.
Not DEA. Anyway, that's drugs, but anyway.
Let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser, taser, taser! He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shot fired! Shot fired, shot fired.
Stay out, you got a gun on you!
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
So as a reminder, the Nikki was another one with no clothes, no underwear. And they believe that Doug was keeping the underwear as his trophies to relieve the moment of of his crimes that he committed. After 20 years, investigators finally had an actual suspect, guys.
Like a real one.
An actual suspect. They believe that Doug/Donna or Douglas/Donna Perry was displaying the victims as if he wanted to show off that he had killed them. The investigators say that, like I said, there was about 600 tips, and I mean, there's nothing. I mean, nadie was even mentioning. So the investigators in the actual video I was watching, they were like, we didn't even know where to start. Like, we had no idea who this guy was.
That's what I'm saying.
Or this woman.
Initially, like they say that they were trying to link the women to Robert Yates. Initially, you know.
So they were kind of like not that they forgot, but they were kind of like the investigator did say, like, there was so many other cases going on. We were trying our best. You know, we're talking about the 3 that this dude had killed, and then the 11 that the other dude.
They just all happened to be sex workers.
And then there was another serial killer around the same time that they were kind of looking into as well. And with that, the DNA that was found at the murder scene of Miss Sapp off the blanket was 100% matched. It was Douglas.
Donna Douglas. Yeah.
Well, because at this moment when he did it, it was Douglas.
Okay, yeah.
And then there was also DNA found in some clothing from Ms. Loyal that was 100% match. And then obviously we do know the fingernail clippings of Ms. Brisboe.
And then the semen.
And the semen, yeah. The evidence that was kept and processed since the 1990s was good enough to charge Donna Perry with the murders. So here's the deal. They go and pick her ass up. She's in jail at this time, remember? She's in jail for the gun charges or whatever. And they tell her, hey, you know, we're bringing you in. Ella luego ya sabía. Why am I here? What's going on?
So no sabía todavía.
Ella según no sabía.
Okay.
Pero ella ya sabía que algo estaba pasando because she's like, okay, what are you charging me with?
Why are you bringing
She's been in jail.
Yeah,
she knows
how it works.
The process. So she said, and I quote, they tell her, hey, we're investigating some old murders and so and so and so and so. Your name, you're connected.
You're a suspect.
You're a suspect. Y les dice, murder?
Ahí se hace la mosca muerta como si no sabe.
100%.
Oh, wow.
Murder? Me? Murder?
Not I.
Y luego entonces they put her in handcuffs and they told her to turn around. And she's like, I'm too old to run. Like, I can't do this. Like, acting like an old, like, tired lady,
como
right?
si estaba en una silla de ruedas or something.
And now she tells the investigators to give her a pistol and that she will end it for them. She said, I would rather die than go back to jail. Because remember, she had been in there for, I don't even know how many times already. La güey, pues nada más estaba yendo. Pero at this point, not as Donna, as Douglas, right? So they showed her some pictures of the ladies of the street. And they showed her pictures of the ladies, of the victims, along with other people that had actually had something to do with her. And she would pick them up and be like, nope, I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody.
I don't know anything.
I don't know this person. But this is what it kind of made me sick to my stomach. It was because whenever they got to Ms. Yolanda Sapp, she was African American. And he said, nope. And I quote, nope, she's black. I don't date black people. And then she literally took her picture y la puso al lado.
Wow, like separating her from the rest. What a bitch.
Well, yeah, but you weren't worried about that when you killed. Anyway, we're not starting there because, you know. So after hours, they asked one question that sealed the deal for the investigators. They asked her, we know that when people kill more than one person, it tends to go on and on. So what made Donna stop? This infuriated her. And she goes on to say, Douglas didn't stop. She says, Donna stopped it. So now you're telling the investigators that you did it, but you didn't do it. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, like she's saying, okay, but I don't know if you're going to get to this part, but so she transitioned over to Donna. You said what, 2000?
2000.
So you're telling me that she didn't just, or Douglas didn't just kill these 3 women. They had to have it more. Yeah. Are we gonna?
No. Honestly, the confessions of him saying that he had killed 9, they don't think that it was actually 9 because he only talked about those 3 and what he did to those 3, but he doesn't talk about anybody
then he'll
else.
Just like embellish the other ones.
Yeah. And so then that's why it doesn't make sense. So that right there was enough for the investigator. Said, dude, you're telling me basically that you did it.
And
so
also
stop going in circles.
Not even that. They have DNA.
So then also she said that the gender change when she changed her gender in 2000. It changed her brain as well. So in her mind, estrogen was better for her because estrogen doesn't make her mad. Testosterone made her mad. So she tells detectives, I'm a woman now. I'm not the guy. I'm not a guy. Do you want me to take my pants off and show you? She says, I am not a guy anymore. And then she said she left what Doug did behind her, that she doesn't remember what he did.
Okay, that's fine. But you still did it.
And that's the thing. We go back to the same thing.
Your DNA doesn't change.
Exactly. So she said detectives did uncover why they think that maybe was because of her obsession with guns. So they were kind of bringing up the guns. They would bring up a little bit about everything. So then they noticed that she had some jealousy towards these women. She was upset because she wanted to be like them.
Reproductively speaking.
And she wanted to be like them. And she was like, you're just throwing that away.
Donna was saying that about.
And then the investigator said that, well, I mean, he'd never had this happen. So he had to talk to like an FBI, like special person that's
maybe
done
like
that
forensic
before.
psychiatrist.
Like a lo mejor alguien que le podría decir cómo hablar con ella un poco mejor. And that person said, just do not call them by him. Call him a she, because she's saying, okay, I've gone through all of this and then you're going to call me a him anyway. So yeah.
I mean, which is true because whatever she did, that's how she identifies as now, is a woman. Donna.
So then they do go on to ask her, because she did have a girlfriend, and her name, she was in love with Claire Ann is her name.
She meet her, did they meet in jail or prison?
They met at the trap house in the hotel. So she was a prostitute as well. Claire Ann and Doug. So the girlfriend that Doug had was when he was Doug, not when she was Donna.
Okay. So all this time they have been dating?
No. Let me tell you what happened. So she said that back then, she was like, it couldn't have been me because I was with Claire Ann. Back in the day. Doug. Yeah. Okay. And so they say, oh, but you remember her. But you don't remember what he did. Right? Okay. So when the two ladies were found dead, Claire Ann was in prison. So they believe that he could have kind of helped her get rid of her rivals, because they were her rivals at the hotel. But the thing is, Claire Ann never asked him to do that. Like, she was just living her life.
But maybe he was using that as an excuse to kill the women anyway, because les tenía envidia.
Yeah. So Donna would say, hey, Claire Ann can leave at any time. She would be set free. He actually told the investigators that he would go drive by Claire Ann, pick her up, and throw her in the trunk of his car.
What?
Because he was trying to get her out of that life. So
Se la quería llevar a fuerzas.
Se la quería llevar. So Claire Ann was like, bro,
I'm good.
Like, I want to live this life. Like, stop it. And not only that, but él se la quería llevar a una casa, tenerla como su mujer.
Like in a white picket fence and shit.
Exactly. And so then when he was asked, you let her go. He didn't let her go. She fucking left him because she was fucking creeped out. And he said, yes, I was in love, but the love was not mutual. She also says, Claire Ann, when she left, I cried a lot. I was very much in love.
Oh, and now that you bring up la relación that they had, do you think that in a way, besides tenerles envidia, he took it out on these women too, because he could never take Claire Ann out of that life?
Yeah. He wanted to take her so bad out of the life. Él quería casarse con ella, tener una vida con ella.
Una familia, blah, blah, blah.
But most of these ladies, unfortunately, and I don't know if it's still now, but back in the 90s, were addicted to crack or some sort of drug. So ellas hacían lo que fuera por las drogas.
Yeah.
And so if that meant them being out there, then they were out there. So él quería fuerzas que Claire Ann no fuera ahí, pero ella no quería.
I mean, and she could do whatever she wanted. It's her life.
Yeah. Not only that, but don't you think that he's kind of like a hypocrite? Because then he was prostituting himself to get money for the guns.
Yeah.
So then why are you mad at the prostitutes?
But do you think he was actually being truthful about that? Or do you think he was
¿Dónde sacaba dinero?
¿Por qué más hacía?
Nada. He said, and then they asked him, well, did you bring a lot of prostitutes home with you? And he's like, no, because I was living on Social Security and they would only give me about $700 a month. I had no money. So then where were you getting money for fucking 20,000 rounds of ammunition?
And what do you said, 50 guns or
50
something?
50 guns? Like, those are not cheap.
Hell no, they're not cheap. But I mean, you're making that much money off sex work?
They do make quite a bit. I don't know. I haven't looked at
statistics.
Of sex work.
Yeah, Douglas, lying ass.
Yeah.
Donna, Lioness.
So in 2014, Donna Perry was charged with the murder of the 3 ladies. The court proceedings began in 2017.
Oh, apenas.
Yeah. Defense said that his DNA was, the defense obviously was.
They knew he had done it. His DNA is not there.
And it pisses me off because I know that that's their job and they have to have a defense. But I'm like, bro, how is that even possible? Let me tell you what they were saying. DNA was there because he was always there because of Clairant in the area and he was prostituting. And that's why his DNA was around the ladies. The family.
Wait, what? Can you say that again?
So the defense was saying that the reason that there was DNA of Douglas there was because he was always there because of Clairant.
Okay.
Y porque he was prostituting himself.
So they were Okay, I know he said Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing sex work too, but he was doing sex work as a man with the ladies.
As a man.
With the ladies.
With the man.
No, but with the ladies.
Yeah,
like
with the ladies se juntaban.
Al mismo tiempo.
I don't know if it was al mismo tiempo.
No al mismo tiempo, pero like they were
around the same area, time frame, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So because that's how, and so he's like, I was there all the time.
Yeah, but how is your DNA on them?
Not only that, but in a criminal setting, like donde están las pobres muchachas bien muertas y todo, you know, I don't know. But the families of the
That was a defense.
Yeah.
That's what they were arguing.
And they kept saying that the reason that he didn't remember was because of trauma and that he couldn't, no. Mm-mm.
No, he remembers. He literally said Douglas did it. Not Donna, but Douglas then did do it. Not me now.
Not me now, but maybe then, but I don't remember.
Exactly.
And the investigators were like, oh, you don't remember.
But your DNA
doesn't change, you know?
Yeah.
So the family of the victims did speak at the court. And one of the family members said, and I quote, "I hope that the person sitting over there that is acting like they cannot hear me or he cannot hear me rots in hell." End quote.
Porque they had kids, right?
Dude, they're one of the, Ms. Brispow's daughter, she was crying. She was like, I thought we were never going to be here. Like they thought they were never going to put their mom through to justice because their death was just, it was never, and not only that, but I don't know if it was just because of the fact that it was around the same time as other serial killers or what it was, but sex working, you know, most of the time they get
put like on the back burner.
Yeah. And I don't think that's right because I mean, they're
still people.
human, you know. On July 24, 2017, Donna Perry was convicted of the 3 murders and was sentenced to 3 life sentences. Mm-hmm. She was the Spokane, Washington state first serial killer with gender reassignment. She is at the Washington Correction Center for Women, right? But one of the victims' family, I think it was Miss Nikki Lowell, wanted him to go to the men's prison because he needed to be away from the women to prevent him hurting someone else. But they didn't even consider that. He was a woman, technically. So that's the story of this serial killer.
That's crazy. I never heard about Donna Perry.
Yeah. So I have a question for you because I did write this as a question. Was he really transsexual or did he do it so that he wouldn't face what he did?
No, I think he was. Especially, I think, from what you told us, he had all that trauma from
his dad
being sexually abused by his dad and stuff. So, yeah, I think so.
I think that
it could be a little bit of both.
That's what I think. I think it could have been a little bit of both.
Pero también, obviously, mentally, like he wasn't well anyway, because if you were thinking logically, like, yeah, you can, you know, have your sex change. Yeah. You have to know that regardless, it doesn't change your DNA. It's still you.
Still you.
I mean, it's still you. I mean, why did I say like that? You?
Are you barking at us? What the hell?
Am I my niece and my nephew?
Yes, of course. So
you know what I mean? So maybe it could be a little bit of both, but I think that maybe the trauma that, you know, he had growing up had to have played a part, and that mentally he wasn't well. Yeah. She wasn't well.
Yeah, pienso igual, pero I honestly think that the fact that she kind of acted like, oh, now my brain changed, so it can't be me. Like, I think that's
not the science.
No,
that
that's
I'm reading
not the science.
Here. I'm reading the science is telling me that that's
not. Porque como si se le olvidó todo eso, but didn't forget had that the love for guns.
No, exactamente. Pero también I'm sorry, I keep on saying he.
He doesn't like it, so let's call him he.
No, she.
Well, she doesn't like it, so let's call him he. Donna
was saying que no se acordaba, but Douglas could have done it. Yeah. Like she wasn't denying. Sure. She wasn't denying it. So, pero nada más no se acordaba.
Which is fine, pero también vamos a ver. So then you're telling me that the fact that we matched your DNA from something that was 3
That's what I'm
years
saying,
ago,
like,
especially
not
semen,
3 years ago.
or 20 years ago, excuse me, especially semen,
Yeah,
that
that's
you
what I'm-
don't even produce semen anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's yours. Your DNA is still your DNA.
no
It doesn't
matter if
change.
it was in 1990, 2090, I don't care. You're still the same person. I just thought it kind of was relevant to the case that we had because obviously, you know, there's two different spectrums of, you know, Canada
mental disorder.
but it's mental disorder to say the least. But
mental illness, I'm sorry.
mental illness. But the thing is, like, think about it. Over here with this other guy, they tell him, oh, well, because it was done because he wasn't in his right mind.
But I think
why.
también the crimes are like way like
Yeah, but we're talking about this guy in Canada decapitated this
That's what I'm
dude.
saying,
And
like-
then, pero over here, he killed 3 women. Las dejó, I mean, pretty much como to embarrass them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to another one of the things that I listened to. There was a psychocriminologist or something like that, and he was saying that he believed that the reason that he did that was to show the other ladies, como saben que si hacen esto, this is what's going to happen to you. You know, to kind of give
like
them like
scare them.
Yeah, so in his mind, he was doing something good.
like doing them a favor
Yeah,
at least.
y también it was brought up the fact that he had all these guns, dude. He had like big guns, little guns, and he used a dainty little 22. So they're like, to him, he was doing them like kind of like a heroic justice
Instead of like
them.
I could have done it worse in a way.
Yeah, because he could have choked them. He could have done a lot of other things. And unfortunately, that sounds horrible, but it could have happened. And he just shot them. He didn't mess with their body. Like he literally, the only one that was because Ms. Briscoe fought back. And so, and if it wasn't because of her, they would have never
Maybe
put the thing 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of the DNA that was so like prominent in the under fingers of her. No.
over the semen. Who had the semen?
Ms. Sapp.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean,
But they
there was
didn't.
two.
But like, remember that I told you that they only took some of the stuff so that they can retest. They didn't retest the blanket.
Yeah.
Until after she was already caught.
It would have maybe
So
just
that-
taken longer.
Yeah, because they
to-
say that they were like, well, we're going to go based on the most DNA found, which was under Briscoe's,
Nails.
nails.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. Let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
We really appreciate you guys, the input and whoever is, sending us messages through Instagram. We appreciate you
Or
guys.
emails.
Anybody that send us any message, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support and let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
If you would like to follow us, you can follow us on Instagram at
Cafecito and Crime Pod, and you can download our episodes. And if you would like to leave us a review, we'd really appreciate it.
Yes, please do. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much and have a wonderful rest of your hot summer or not hot, wherever you're at. Day. Bye.